Hey, hello guys, welcome to Cat Ninjas. Let's have another scintillating session on DILR. As usual, right? So we are doing every day in the afternoon at 2. We do the DILR Classics from the CAT perspective, especially some of the old CAT questions from where the beautiful logic and the beautiful way of thinking would emerge. And then every day at 10 in the night, we are continuing our study on quantitative aptitude. Right, so here we go with yet another session. So just quickly give me the audio interface is clear, which means audio is clear. So give me a quick confirmation on that. A quick confirmation could help me on this. If you're all set to go. Okay, all right. All right. Thanks, Tuti. Good afternoon. Thanks for confirmation. Thanks, Keval. Great. All right, friends. Let's get started on this note then. So let me give a quick introduction background about myself. So this is the background. So I have worked with various test prep industries since 2007. That's about 14 years now. And over a period of time, I developed the expertise to train students on QA DILR with respect to certain areas, right? The way you teach for CAT could be a little different from NMAT, which could be different from GMAT and so on. And so if you want to ping me or you want to reach out to me for any specific guidance or concerns, so you can note down this chat link, and then after the class, you can put it down your concerns out there and you can tag me there, you can ping me there. So I will come back and respond to your queries. All right, before I get started, let me do a quick announcements here. So Unacademy offers two types of subscriptions. One is the Plus, the other one is the Iconic subscription. So if you're looking at a structured way of preparing, go for one of these subscriptions, because what we do sometimes in the YouTube may not be sufficient, may not be complete. There will be some gaps here and there based on what you learn. So you want to get the complete structured course, go for one of these subscriptions. Of course, Iconic comes with a lot of personal attention. So be it the test analysis, individual test analysis, or study planner, study material. It comes with a lot of personal guidance and assistance there. Plus subscription, these are the fee, these are the subscription, this is the subscription fee for the plus, and you get 10% off if you use the code Belvi 100. Use Belvi 100 and you can avail 10% off on any of the fees that's there for plus course or be it for the Iconic course. All right, so here we go. That's briefly about it. So wherever there is a code that comes in there while you are subscribing, or whether you are looking at the app, downloading the app, etc., follow me, you can use this particular code there. Great, good enough. So let's start with our journey. So as usual, I will also give you about 2 to 3 minutes, say 3 minutes of your time. We will do one of the most classic sets that appeared in CAT. The same kind of logic got repeated several times. As far as I remember, it is about 3 or 4 times the same logic got repeated in CAT, and maybe in various other entrance exams, because this is one of the most classic. Any CAT trainer will always, the moment you talk about Purana Naya, he will tell the full set. All right, this is popularly called as Purana Naya, right? So Purana Naya set, you tell them that, hey, there is a classic DI set, Purana Naya. Any trainer should be able, any trainer who is training especially for CAT, they should be able to recall the whole set and they will tell this is the logic behind it. This is how the things work. Such a beautiful classic set that we are going to do today. A beautiful one. So, all right. So, what I do here is, again, I start by giving you 3 minutes. First, I'll give you 3 minutes. In this 3 minutes of reflection time, I want you to read, comprehend. While you read, do two things: to comprehend and then try to retain the information. That retention is the key. If you don't retain the information, it becomes very, very difficult to resolve the issue, right? Therefore, ensure that you kind of retain that particular information, and then try and see which questions can be tackled first, which means how you want to unlock it, how you want to start this. Okay, now this is not as difficult as the sets that we did in the past. I brought down the difficulty level little on the lower side for today's lecture. That's all right, but then I'm not promising you that it's going to be very easy as well. All right, so let's see that what is this medium level difficulty set is about. So read to understand, to comprehend, and try and see which are the questions which can be done with ease. That's what I want you to understand in these 3 minutes time. Fair enough. Let's get started. 3 minutes is your undisturbed time. So focus, sit with that attention, and grab a pen and take a book, sit with the pen and the book, keep your tools ready, because that's virtue of the way you prepare is very important. It's not that you kind of like, pass through, you are doing on the Instagrams or the Facebook or the WhatsApp. Yeah, I will just visit something and go on. Such attitude might not help. So if you're serious about your preparation, let's show it in action. In the sense, keep your book, keep your pen ready, and let's get started on this. All right, who all have joined? Can I know the names quickly? Can you put a hi there? If you don't mind, just put a hi there just to understand who are there with us today. I am there along with me. Who else is there? Okay, Stuti and Keval are there. So that's there. Yes, Stuti and Keval living apart. You both texted. Anybody else? Anybody else? You can just put a hi there so that I kind of understand and connect. Oh, Mohit is there. Okay, Anugrah. All right. Kishan is back. Parth is there. All right. Okay. Great. All right, friends. All right. Let's get started. Take your 3 minutes. Sanket, you are also there. Superb. Yeah, take 3 minutes. Read through this classic DI set, the very classical one. Yeah, 3 minutes is your time. Go ahead. Use it. All right, guys. Fine. Let's do it together. No worries, right? Once I leave, so you will have enough time. You may have to work it at the background, all right, as I told in my previous lecture. So if I put 1x effort, you may have to put 3x effort at your end. That's important there. Good. All right. So today there are a lot of names with A. All right. Anugraha is A. Akshad, Akshada is A. Arshad is A. Right. So I think it's all dominated by A's, right? So and then there was another A in the beginning. I think there are four people with the name of A. That's yeah. Hi Tamanna, all right. Yeah, and then Sakshi has joined. Sakshi, you were asking that, sir, when did you start the series? Right, we started last week, all right, sometime last week. The series is there. Put it as Cat Ninjas. You want to get the complete series, type it as Cat Ninjas 1.0. This is Cat Ninjas 1.0. So you will get that particular one out there, right? Yeah, good. So fair enough, guys. Let's get started. So if you understand this, so we all know that. All right, now here, let me ask you a quick question out here. Which are the two easy questions? If you say that, okay, which are the questions you would like to do here? If I give you a choice, which questions you would like to do? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat because I said that always identify the difficulty level of the questions. That is calibration of the questions. Yes. Go ahead, tell me which are the questions you desire to do. Yeah, idea is to do all four. That's a different issue. But then, so given a choice, I have only 5 minutes. I want to tackle some questions. Which are those questions? Say 5 minutes. You are at the nick of the time. Just got 5 minutes. I may not be able to close this entire set in 5 minutes. Which are the two questions that you do out here? Right? Good. So it's in all likelihood it is going to be one and two. Right, in all likelihood it is going to be 1 and 2 because there is a problem with Purana. In fact, I want you to teach how to answer question 3 and question 4 because after that the sets which came in, this was the first classical set, after which some of the sets which came in, they capitalized on questions of type 3 and 4, which means they built from there. All right, they built from there coming to this, which means when you read this particular set, it's nice. So look at this. All right, which is the critical statement here? This is the critical statement for both these brands. 20% of the mixer grinders brought in a particular year are disposed of as junk exactly 2 years later. That is the most critical statement, right? So if you ask me, tell me what is the single largest critical statement here. This is the most critical statement. Now the problem with Purana. What is the problem with Purana? Purana is an old brand that was introduced in 1990 and suddenly this fellow gives me data from 1995. There is a problem, all right, because he is giving data from 1995. Although it is established in 1990, what is missing data? 1990, they might have produced X, which means they might have sold X goods here. 1991 data, maybe Y. 1992 data missing, 1993 missing, 1994 missing. Suddenly some number pops up at 1995 saying that now totally 120 or at 120 kitchen mixer grinders are operational. Hey, what happened to this particular data? This is masked. That is where the thinking starts. If I were to educate you today, what is that I want to teach you is how to tackle question number 3 and question number 4. What is the rationale? What is the idea behind it? Now you may say that, sir, why 1 and 2? How do I understand that 1 and 2 is what I need to solve? See, this idea is important. I cannot look at the DI thinking that, okay, I don't understand anything. I told you before itself that whenever you read the question, you got to read the questions as well along with the data. Read the question, try and see that can I calibrate, which one should I do based on the data. That thinking process is important. I'm not saying that right today you'll be able to think. Come on, by the time I go to November, that should be crystal clear. You look at the set, you know what to do, what not to do, what to prefer, what not to prefer. If I don't get that idea, then I'm nowhere in the picture. Getting into the 99 percentile club is pretty challenging. Look at this. Okay, so why do you think that I will do questions built on Naya? Naya is pretty simple because Naya got into operation from 1997. No, not 1997 here. Yeah, 1997. This 1997. So here, Naya got all it while Naya was introduced in 1997. I have all the data for Naya. All the data for Naya. Therefore, what? Naya data is complete. So why don't I solve the questions where the data is complete rather than focusing on the questions where the data is incomplete? Where the data is incomplete for Purana, the data is incomplete. Which is that incomplete data? 1990 to 1994. I don't have this particular data. This is the first understanding. Such understanding is important when you look at certain reasoning based DI set. It is not that I approach bland, I will get the whole set done and then I will answer the questions. Definitely not. This happened several times with me while writing the mocks or while writing the actual papers. While doing the DILR set, I'll be left sometime with 3 minutes, sometimes 4 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. Now, this is the kind of time which I'll be left with 3, 4, 5 minutes, clueless what to do. So, if I carry this orientation that, okay, I can always look for some questions which can be done faster, you can utilize those 3 to 5 minutes because every time you will not have the luxury of time. Quant is still fine. You have 3 minutes, quant is still okay, right? So, but then point is if in a DILR set you are left with 5 minutes, you are clueless. A lot of people lose the advantage of the answering questions because they didn't use those last 5 minutes. You will not get the time management right. Out of 40 minutes, 35th minute, you finished one particular set. Clock is showing that another 5 minutes are left. Now what to do? You come under pressure, right? Yeah. For that, such orientation, saying that these two I can tackle, the other two I will keep it for the rest of the time. So such understanding will always help. Fair enough. Let's come to this. Having understood this, let's come to this. First point. Is this clear why I am attacking Naya first? Everybody. Is this clear why I am attacking Naya first? Because the data is complete for Naya. Therefore, I will focus on Naya first. Is this clear to you? Everyone, is this clear why I am attacking Naya and why I'm not interested in Purana to start with? Give a quick confirmation. Quick. Put it in the chat as much as possible. Okay. Keval, Mohak, Meenakshi. Anybody else? Quick. Yeah. Kishan. All right. Mohit. Good. I'm hoping that others are also fine. Others are also fine because that's the first thing I wanted you to understand. Right? Yeah. Piyush. All right, man. Let's see here. Let me teach you how to do it for Naya, how to write it all in a classical pattern, how to understand this particular chart. What did I do? I just copied these numbers. This 30, I brought it here total. There are 80 mixers and grinders operational in 1998, 1999, 124, 2000, 134. You may say that, sir, should I have to draw grid like this and do it? No. For explanation, I have to take that extra effort. There is no choice. I try to do some scribbling here like this. Then you will say that you will be losing the comprehension. Once you are a master of it, where you write, how you write really doesn't matter. Till you learn, write it in the organized way. At least to teach, I don't have a choice but to writing things in a much organized way. After that, it's your choice. Once you learn, it's going to be your choice. Fair enough. So let me quickly explain this. What happened? In 1997, they manufactured 30 new items. I will write the new here to start with, 30 new. You may wonder, sir, why you are writing 30 new there? Simple. In 1997, the 30 numbers were manufactured. Look at only this 30. Look at what did I do with this 30? This 30 I copied. This data was from the chart. This data I just copied from the chart. Then now I'm analyzing that particular data. This 30 would remain as it is. 1998, that 30 will continue. I'm just telling the story of 30. You may say that, sir, there are 80 here. I'll come to that 80 later. Let me focus on this 30. 30 mixer and grinders were sold in the 1997. They remain in the market. 1998, they remain in the market. 1999, 20% of this would be discarded, which means 6 pieces would be discarded, 24 would be functional, 2000 also 24 would be functional. Just in case if there was a year 2001, 24 would be functional, which means in a batch of this 30 mixer and grinders, it's a batch of 30. In this batch of 30, 24 will remain forever and ever and ever. I don't call it now, so I said forever and ever and ever. From our purpose, that was the understanding. Read this sentence once again. For both these brands, so for example, now I am doing it for Naya. For the brand Naya, 20% of the mixer grinders brought in a particular year, which means that particular batch, particular year, are disposed of as a junk exactly 2 years later. After that, what? Again, no more disposing. I don't know why they are doing it like this. I have no idea. They said 20% of them would be disposed of and rest of them will continue to serve forever and ever and ever. Okay, so there is nothing like forever. I'm just adding that expression to it. All right. Okay, so that is the best. That's the understanding, which means this batch of 30 will remain in the next year as a batch of 30. After that, 20% of this gets discarded, 6 get discarded, 24 would continue. Anyway, I'm not interested in 2001 though, but in case if there was a 2001, that is what it means to us. That is the understanding there. Fair enough. We understood. Let's go to the next one now on this note. So, but then in 1998, there were 80. 30 were carry forwarded from the previous year. 30 was a carry forward. If 30 is a carry forward, how many were new? Remaining 50 were new. 50 were fresh pieces which were sold. A batch of 50 were sold in 1990. It's a fresh. This last number is a fresh. What happens with this 50? Next year, it remains 50. Subsequent year, 2 years, it has been already there. 50 are there. Batch of 50 are there for 2 years. Subsequent years, 20% of this would be discarded. What is 20% of this? 10 pieces would be discarded. It would remain 40 hereafter. Even if there is a year 2001, so it will be 40. Even if there is a year 2002, that would remain 40. That's the basic understanding. That's a basic understanding. Fair enough. Let me come to the next year now. 1999, let me come to 1999. Out of 124, 24 is brought forward, carry forward. 50 is a carry forward. 24 and 50 were carry forward, which means 74 were carry forward. How many new were manufactured? 50. What happens to this 50? It remains in that carry forward into the next year. It remains there. Nothing is going to be discarded. Fair enough. So therefore, let me come to the last piece of information. Let me come to the last piece of information. What about this solid? What about this 134 in the year 2000? 134, 24 were carry forward, 40 were carry forward, this 50 were carry forward. Fair enough. So therefore, how many were carry forward? 114 were carry forward. Therefore, 20 new were manufactured in the 2000. These are the new. This 30 were new. This 50 were new, this 50 were new, and this 20 were new. Okay, give me a quick confirmation that you understood the organizing of the data. It hardly takes any time. Now you may ask that, is this the necessary to organize it like this? No, I'm not saying this, but I organized to help you to understand this. Is this clear what I organized? Everybody clear what I tried to organize? Give a quick yes, no, whatever it is. Okay, Piyush is giving a thumbs up. He says it's fine. All right. Everybody else? Keval good. Mohit good. Okay. All right. Nice. Arshad got it. Yogi got it. Yogi, when did you join? In between you joined. Navneet got it. All right. All right. Fair enough, guys. Wonderful. Now let's answer the questions. Sometimes even after getting this, people take time to answer, right? As I told you in some of the previous prayers, these things. All right. Shrustil, when did you join? In between? Okay, fine. Okay, let's take a look at the first question. How many Naya mixer grinders were purchased in 1999? 1999, straightforward. The last number will be the ones which are going to be purchased, which is that this 50. These are the 50 which are purchased in 1999, the batch of 50, right? That's a straightforward answer there. Good. All right, let's go to the next one now. Let's move on to the next one. Next question. How many Naya mixer grinders were disposed of by the end of 2000? By the time you went to the 2000, how many were disposed of? Look at this. 30 were manufactured, 24 are remaining. Look at the ends, beginning and the end. Right? So 30 were manufactured, 24 remain in the market, which means how many were discarded? 6 were discarded. Difference. All right. Yeah. Next one. Next piece of information, 50 were manufactured and 40 are remaining in this batch because it's a new batch of 50. Out of this batch of 50, 40 are remaining, which means how many were discarded? 10 were discarded, right? The next one, similarly, 50 were manufactured, all 50 are remaining, 0. So here also it is 0. I need to add these numbers, right? 6 plus 10 plus 0 plus 0. Look at the beginning. How many were there batch? This is a batch of 30. How many are remaining out of this? 24 are remaining. Then what happened in between that 6? 6 were discarded. That's the way you do this. Therefore, it is going to be 16. I hope now you got the perspective on this, how to do this particular question. Give a quick thumbs up that you got it because I have some surprise for you. So if you got it, then I will give a surprise. You got this? You got this? Naya's story is clear. The story of Naya is clear, everyone. Story of Naya is clear. Mohak, that is right. What you said is right. What you said is right, Mohak. Yeah. This story is clear. Give a quick thumbs up or anything, some comment there, something in the chat. You put it. Okay. 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 Srushti got it. Stuti got it. Mohit fine. Keval fine. Kishan fine. Others, I am assuming that okay, you have a little bit of a problem in typing. Navneet is also fine. Arshad is fine. Great. Now it's your turn. Now the surprise is this. I will give 2 or 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I don't want to give you more than 2 minutes. I'll give 2 minutes. I want you to open up the how do you do it for Purana therefore, because that was the crux of today's lecture. Naya is not the lecture. Naya is a warm up, right? What I did here, this was a warm up. Alright, this was a warm up. Okay, now I'm coming to the actual matter. What is the actual matter? I'm coming. Just before that, let me quickly make these quick announcements out here. So I would be dealing with 2 more lectures today. So one about how to score better in mock cats. So how to prepare from now to November by using the tests as well. What is the importance of the test? Because we're into the right season. So I will speak about it maybe for about 20-30 minutes. So just try to be there if you are free. And at 10, we will continue our discussion on time, speed, distance. Today we'll do one of the simple topics, that is boats and streams. All right, and so I will also be doing the special lecture. I'm sure all of you have downloaded the Unacademy app, so there you can follow me. That's on Wednesday. If you have not downloaded the app, so while you are trying to download the app, use this particular code, which will be necessarily encouraging to both of us. Belvi 100, use that particular code to do this. All right, so let's now go to the part of this. Now I'm coming to the actual matter. I'm coming to this actual matter, right? Purana. Let me go back to the questions because you need questions, right? Yeah. Hmm. Here we go. Now spend 2-3 minutes. I already taught you how to organize the data and check how you would have organized it with this warm up, how you would have organized this particular data for question number 3 and question number 4. Question number 3 and question number 4. Get the starting point. That's what I'm interested in. How do you tackle question number 3 and 4? To get that starting point, I will give you 2 minutes. How do you open up your thinking? I'm just interested in that. Closure will happen automatically if I know how to open. Arushi, yes. These are some of the classic sets which come in CAT. Yes. All right, guys. Fine. So here we go. So, okay, shall we organize the thoughts a little bit? Listen to me, all of you, because while I was giving this time to think this 2 minutes, right? So I'm not saying right or wrong. Bhavin was asking a question till when the set series will go. Arushi was saying that cover arrangements and Venn diagrams. Fair enough. I will take your suggestions. I will try and work around your needs, no doubt. What I will do is we will create that separate time, maybe in between. Say that, okay, so you can put all of your suggestions there. Suggestion time, we will keep it because I want you to seriously think when I give time to think, right? When I give time to think, if you seriously think, that builds us, right? If you try to do something, there is nothing wrong. I can understand your anxiety. I can understand that, okay, let me put that comment because I want sir to read it quickly there, and probably this is the time he's free looking at the comments. I can understand. I can understand if I were you. So I also might have done that, maybe, right? So therefore, I will keep the time separate. Probably during that time you can do that. I will keep that 1 minute time, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I will say that guys, you can pour out your suggestions out there. That could be useful, I guess, because when I want you to think, I really want you to think along those lines because that helps us. That helps us because the idea is what? Doing the gym together. We have to work it out together. It is not that I work it out and you keep watching. That does not help. Sometimes I want you to work it out. That time you have to exhibit that, okay, I will also try and do some workout. Whether it will be successful or not successful doesn't matter. But can I stretch my imagination? Can I push my brain? That matters. Okay. Yeah. No offenses meant. I thought probably from your comments that could be one of the things that we can incorporate. We can take the 2 minutes in between and say that you can put your suggestions out there. Make sense? Arushi, Bhavin. Bhavin is okay with it. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I read your comments. We will do that. We will do that. Okay, we will do that. And Bhavin, yes, I'll be there as much as there I am there, unless I get very busy with the plus lectures or few other lectures. You will find me on the YouTube. All right, you will definitely find me, and I will continue with the different brandings, different names. The series I will continue for sure as long as it helps you guys. So I am there, right? The idea is what? Idea is to ensure that you get a but much better percentile as we go along. That's the whole idea. Fair enough. Good. Nice, guys. Nice. Let's get started. Let's see this. Now, see, there is a problem. What is the problem? It's introduced in 1990, which means the new pieces were introduced from 1990 onwards. Let me come to this. Listen to me. Listen to me. This consolidation, this is called as the logic of consolidation. Let me teach you how this gets consolidated. Let me write it from here. Let me write it from here. Try to follow, my friends. 1990, X newer purchase. New. Only I'm writing the new number. 1991. Let's assume that Y new were there. Y new were introduced. 1992, again they sold some Z pieces. All were new. All at Z pieces. 1993, all at they introduced some W new pieces. All at new. These are new. The batch of X were new. Batch of Y were new. Batch of Z were new. Batch of W were new. What are these? These are the new pieces. In 1994. All right, so there was a batch of yes new pieces. Yes new pieces. 1995. We'll come to that story later. We'll come to that story later. All right, so what happens here with this X? Listen to me very carefully, because this background will help. Every time you don't do that in the exam, don't think that, sir, will I be doing this? No, I will come to the consolidation of this, but you need to understand once and visualize this once. After that, anytime these kind of questions come, you know how to package them. That's not a worry. Okay, this X will remain X here. This would become 0.8x here, because we know that 20% will be discarded. Therefore, how much it will become? 0.8x. This would also will become 0.8x. This also would become 0.8x. This also would become 0.8x. Static. What I'm trying to say is this number 0.8x is a static. After this stage, it becomes a static ever. All that is going to remain in the market forever and ever and ever. No more discarding from that lot. Similarly, let's go for Y. What happens to Y here? This becomes this becomes Y as it is, because it's a second year. Look from Y's perspective. Second year it will be Y. After that 0.8Y. Then it becomes 0.8Y. Then it becomes 0.8Y. In the sense, when I look at 1995, you may wonder, sir, why you are circling at 1995? Because my first data is available at 1995. I want to understand the situation when it comes to 1995. That's the whole idea there, which means these are the static number. No more discarding is going to happen in 1995. Fair enough. All right, let me come to the next number. What about this Z? This will become 0.8z. Sorry, this will be z as it is. One more here. This would be 0.8z. This will be 0.8z, which means this is another static number. No change. No change is ever going to happen after this. All right, let me come to this w. This w remains w, and this will become 0.8w. 0.8. The moment once it becomes 0.8, it will never change after that. All these are static numbers. All these are static numbers. What is the dynamic number here? The dynamic number is this. This s will remain s. That is the problem. Therefore, what I will do is, these are super old. I will call them as super old. What do you mean by super old? No change. This is going to change. This yes is going to change in 1996. When I'm going to write the data for 1996, this super old, I will call it as A. This will not change. This A will not change for sure. This A will not change for sure, because it's a super old. This 0.8 will remain 0.8x, 0.8y, 0.8z, 0.8z. But this yes will suddenly become 0.8. Yes, that is going to be a change there, which means when I come to 1996, I will classify the data into three parts. Say, which are the three parts? This I will call it as super old. What do you mean by super old? It is not going to change anymore. What about this yes? This yes I will call it as old. Old, but it's not old enough to become super old. It is just old, which means it is going to change that number. It will become 0.8 somewhere. And then I will write another number B here. Let us say I will write another number B here. It is going to be new. This B is going to be new. These are the new batch which is got introduced in the year 1995. What is important to me here is, look, this number 120 is made up of three things. Okay, what are the three things? There is a super old component, there is a old component, and there is a new component. Okay, that is the point I wanted you to understand. What is super old? Super old means unchanging. This 0.8 is unchanging. But there was a old, the one which got manufactured, the batch which got sold in 1994. When it comes to 1995, it is called as old, but it is not super old. What is super old? Unchanging is super old. But this S in the subsequent year, this S is going to be 0.8S. Therefore, I'm saying that it is old. The moment it becomes old enough, it will become 0.8S. And also there are some new things which are there, which means three components. When I look at 1995, this 120 is made up of three components. I will say A. What is this A? Super old. What is this S? Well, this S is going to be old enough because next year this S will become 0.8S. Next year this S will become 0.8S. This A is not going to change. This A is not going to change. Whereas this S was manufactured in 1994. Yes, new pieces were, the batch of S new were sold. That in 1995 it will remain as S. But in 1996 it will become 0.8S, and after that it will remain 0.8S. After that, that is going to remain 0.8S. Therefore, I'm calling it as this is old, this is super old, this is old enough, and the new is going to be B. Any number, right? A, B, C, S, whatever you want to write, you write it. I'm going to say that this B is going to be new, manufactured in 1995, new batch. That remains B here. After that, it will become 0.8B, 0.8B, etc. My point is, what I wanted you to understand is, in 1995, when you look at this particular data, when you look at the data for 1995, this classification is important. I should say that 120 is made up of three components. One is a super old component, which is never going to change after this. It is going to be static. The other one is a old component, which is going to change its form from the next year. And the third is going to be a new component. These three components added up together becomes 120. This is the crux of this particular problem. Is this clear? Is this clear? This classification is important. This is what I wanted you to teach today. Because based on this, you will get a lot of questions. A lot of sets are constructed based on this classification logic. Whatever the name you give, doesn't matter. I call it as classify that 120 into parts. Whether 2 parts or 3 parts or 4 parts depends on the question and the data. But you need to classify that. Hello, are you there? Kind of made sense, because this is what I wanted to teach today. This was the crux of it. Give a confirmation there. Mohit says yes. Kishan says yes. Tuti says good. Mohak good. I hope others also are following. Others also following, because this is what I wanted you to understand. You understand Naya, but you didn't understand Purana, then it doesn't make sense to me. We got to understand. Good. Keval is also following. Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. 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 All right. Okay. So therefore, back to the data. Very good. Srushti is also following. All right. Okay. All right, fair enough. I'm hoping that most of you are following this. Navneet got it, Piyush got it, Arshad got it. Good, yeah, good, yeah. This is brilliant, yeah. So I don't know whether to please me, you are saying you got it. Sometimes I find students saying that yes, sir, because they just want to please the teacher. I'm sure that all of you are not like that. If you didn't understand, go back to the video, probably listen again. Otherwise, if you really understood, I'm really impressed that you are smart enough. So this is very encouraging. All right, this is very encouraging because you will get an encouraging score. If you understand with this kind of hint I just spoke about for 4 or 5 minutes, you got the logic, that is very powerful, which means you have that caliber. That's what excites me as a trainer. All right, fine. So let's go in here. Let's go in here. So let's come back to this. So the data is right in front of us. There is one piece of information I will add to this. What is that piece here? Here. It is also known that 10 Purana mixer grinders were disposed of in 1997. This number. 10 Purana, because anyway I'm studying about Purana, right? Naya is over. The story of Naya is over. There were 2 questions. We finished that particular story. Now we are doing the story of Purana. What it says that it is also known that 10 Purana mixer grinders were disposed of in 1997. Come here. So where is 1997? This is 1997. 10 Purana grinders are going to be disposed of means what? 0.8B is equal to 10. Right? Disposed of. This is the remaining, right? Which means 0.8B remains means what? 0.2B is equal to 10. What do you mean by 0.2B? 20% of B is equal to 10. Therefore, what is the value of B? B is equal to 50. Just simplify this. 0.2B is 10. Okay, why you are writing 0.2B? Because B was there and 0.8B continued in 1997. So what was discarded? The difference between them. 0.2B components were discarded. Therefore, what is B? 0.2B is equal to 10. Therefore, what is B here? B is equal to 50. Let me introduce. If I know B is equal to 50, let me remove this. Let me write 50. Let me write 50. Why not write 50? This is 50. Okay, what is this particular number? Therefore, this is 40. What is this number? 40. What would be this? 40. What would be this? 40. Because 2 years it will remain 50. 20% is going to be discarded and then 40 is going to remain out there, right? So this is what is going to happen. Fair enough. Now let's come to this. So where I should reach 1999 and 2000 you should reach. We should keep the end in sight. Is author interested in any of the data that we are writing for 1996? No. He says that, man, you go to 1999 and tell me what is the data there. All right, I will tell him. I will tell him no problems. So look at this 162. How do I write this 162? This entire thing is 120. This entire thing, A plus S plus 150, A plus S. Listen to this very carefully. What is that? A plus S plus 50 is equal to 120 here. Then the moment I change a plus zero point 0.8, a zero point 0.8 plus 50, I don't know what is the value of this. I have absolutely no idea. Therefore, what I will do to make this 162, I will introduce another variable called as b now. I will introduce another variable called as b. B new were introduced. 50 new were introduced here. The batch of 50 new were introduced. I have no idea how many new are going to be introduced here, because I have no idea, because S got changed to 0.8S. Now I don't know what this is going to be. Therefore, B new got introduced. Now coming to the next year, listen to this very carefully, my friends. This B remains B here. This B would remain B here. Then this would become 0.8B. This would become 0.8B. And this would become 0.8B. What is this B? That B was new. Now listen to very carefully. 182, which means some C are going to be introduced new. I can find this C now. This C can be found out. You may wonder, how can you find this C? Listen to me carefully here. Go to the previous step. What was the value of this? The value of this is 162. Let me write it here. A plus 0.8 S plus 50 plus B is equal to 162. Now look at this, what you are writing here. This P still here, you find out A as it is, 0.8 S as it is. This 50 has become 40 and this B remains B. Therefore, what will be the value of this? 152. You may ask that, how do you know, sir, 152? Simple. If this is 162, everything remained same. A remained A here, 0.8S remained 0.8S here, B remained B here. This 50 changed to 40. Therefore, the value 162 will change to 152. So which means if this box is 152, what will be the value of C here, so that the total becomes 182. 152 should become 182. Therefore, I know that this particular value is going to be 30. That is 30. I know this was 50. I didn't know what was this, but I know this is going to be 30, which means some numbers can be figured out. That is the whole idea there. Every number need not be figured out. I could find out this new here. Coming to the next one. So this 30 will continue as 30. After that, 20% would be discarded. That is 6 of them would be discarded. This would become 24 and 24. The next numbers would become 24 and 24. Listen to the story. Now let's come to this triple two. Let's come to this triple two. So what is happening here? So we know these values here. This much value we know. This is the value that I know. But what is the value of this box? I will never know. Why? Because this A and A are same. This 0.8 and 0.8 are same. This 40 and 40 are same. B went on to become 0.8B. Without knowing the value of B, how will I know the 0.8B? I will not know. Therefore, will I be knowing the value of this expression? I will not know the value of this expression. Therefore, I will introduce a new variable called as C. I will just introduce a new variable called as C, because I will never know the value of this. Had I known the value of this, I would have found the value of this C. Since I don't know the value of this, I will continue to write it as C. Now look at the next one. Therefore, look at the next one. Look at this one. Can I know the value of this? I can, because A remains A. 0.8 remains 0.8, yes, 40 remains 40, 0.8b remains 0.8b, 30 went on to become 24, and this C remains C here. All right, now this C also remains C here. Right, that much remains there. I want a new element there. Okay, what is the difference? If this value is 222, then this particular value is going to be 200 until here. This value is going to be 216. You may ask, how do you know, sir, it is 216? Only one change happened. This 30 went on to become 24. What is the gap? 6. Therefore, what is the gap between these two numbers? That's also going to be 6, 216. But the idea is, it is not 216, it is 236. How many new pieces were manufactured? Therefore, 20 new pieces were manufactured, which I can write it here. Therefore, the 20 new were manufactured. I hope you are getting this particular idea here. The 20 new were manufactured. So when you go to the next year, you will not be able to find once again. Look at these boxes. A remains A. 0.8 remains 0.8. 10 becomes this 10. All right, now, 40 remains 40 here. 0.8 remains 0.8, 24 remains 24, the C remains C, all right, the C becomes 0.8C. That's a problem. Since I don't know the value of C, I will never know what is 0.8. See, this 20 remains 20. Therefore, what is this new I should write? Absolutely no idea. Therefore, I will write it as D. Absolutely no idea. Why? Because of this. C went on to become 0.8 C. Since I didn't know what is C, I will not know what is 0.8 C. Therefore, I will never be able to find out how many new were manufactured in the year 2000. Now listen to me very carefully, my friends. Listen to me very carefully. This is the data. Data is done. Data is clear. Let's go to questions. Let's now go to questions. I hope you kind of followed it. You didn't follow this, then please go back to this video once again and listen to the recording once again. It should be clear, right? It must be clear there after that. Now listen, let's go to the question number 3. How many Purana mixer grinders was disposed of in 2000? So correct, disposed of is 0.2 C were disposed of because C were there. Suddenly in the year 2000, the value has become 0.2 C less. Alright, as you enter into 2000, you discard. What you discard? See, you didn't discard anything here. A remained A, 0.8 remained 0.8 S, 40 remained 40, 0.8 B remained 0.8 B, 24 remained 24. This 20 remained 20. Then what was the discard? Previous year there were C, there were C items which went on to become 0.8 C items, which means you discarded 0.2 C. Since I don't know C, I cannot determine the value. That is the answer. How many Purana mixer grinders were disposed of in 2000? The answer is nothing but D. All right, now answer is nothing but D, cannot be determined. That's right. Now can you tell me the answer for question 4 quick? Put this in the chat. Last question, you take the credit. Put it in the chat and take the credit. Put the answer quick, straight from the chart. Question 4, you mark the answer and you take the credit. I did the work, you take the credit. Yep, go ahead. How many Purana mixer grinders were purchased? Purchased, not discarded. Keval, not discarded. Purchased, man, purchased. Purchased in 1999. Very good. Answer is A, which is 20. 1999, straightforward. Here we go. This is the answer. Right? This is the answer. 20. This is the answer. 1999. Always the last number is the new one, right? Last number is the new one. Purchased with 20. Very good. That brings to the end of this particular set and end of the lecture as well, because we'll be left with 10-15 minutes. Doing another set will not make sense. So every time we come, we will try and discuss one beautiful logic like this, which will help. The point here is, after you do this, guys, please practice. Please practice. So while practicing, if you want to practice this set once again, pause the video, practice it. Similarly, so hereafter, like whenever you are doing, don't simply try to get exposure to the newer set. So you also, what you got to do is practice on your own, because despite exposure to all newer set, CAT will always outsmart us. We might end up coming across one or two sets which might appear different from whatever our experience is. That happens with me also when I take CAT sometimes. So therefore, we need to build our metal there. So what you also do is kind of try to take sufficient time. It is not that you have to finish in 7-8 minutes kind of. This set could have been done in about 7-8 minutes time, what with the experience, right? But when you are practicing, it doesn't matter. Take 30 minutes also. Take 30 minutes, fight it out with that particular data. When you fight, you build your mind. You got to fight, right? We got to fight. Don't be try to be parasitic. The other nature is called parasitic. Quickly, I want the answer from solution. The moment it is a new set in the exam, your mind says that where is the solution? If there is no solution, I will give up, because that's how we trained it. Don't train your mind like this. Fight it out. Ask it to fight the battle, right? So there we come. That's the end of the lecture. Okay, you want to put any comments there? Please put the comments there quickly now. So anything people want to convey, any suggestions, something, you can put it there right now. This could be the time. This could be the time, or after the lecture, if you are doing it, you can put in the comment. Now it's a chat. You can put it in the chat. You can use the comments also. I can come back and see your comments and answer them. Right? Anything that you want to put it there, you can put it. Okay, Mohak, what you are trying to convey? Yeah, Mohak, it will happen, man. It will happen. While you are learning the driving, it will take a lot of time. But after you learn the driving, it will happen, man. Don't worry, it happens. I'm not trying to give some unrealistic time. Very realistically, I'm speaking. I've seen how people emerge in 14 years. I've seen them in 14 years time. I've seen them, how people progress in skills, right? I'm not setting any unrealistic targets. I'm very realistic in nature, right? I operate out of high ethics and value system. So I don't want to fool anybody. The idea is not to fool anyone. I neither want to fool myself nor want to fool others, right? That's not the idea of living. Right? Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, Keval, taken. But I have to plan that out. There are certain other things as well. Okay, yeah, good. All right, so there we go. There we go. Let me come to the closure comments. Let me do the closure comments. If you have not liked it yet, you finished the lecture and not liked it yet, press the like button before you leave. Right? Whether you're doing it online, offline, doesn't matter. Press the like button and then you leave, not without pressing the like button. And if you shared it and some of your friends also preparing, it will be nice to doing it together. Share the link with them. Let them also watch, right? And let them also join for the live lectures. All right. So there we go. Download the app, etc. Okay. So here are some of the right, quick announcements. So if you are on the Plus platform or you want to be, yeah, right. So you want to be there. Here are some of the fantastic educators who have launched some of these courses. You can take a look at them and you can try to be part of those batches. So I will also be very soon on some of these groups. You can follow me there as well. Live mentoring. So this is how you avail the live mentoring. So one-to-one mentoring, be somebody will sit one-to-one and discuss the SWOT and make suggestions. That's how you go there. Limited edition. If you're especially looking for CAT 22, I'm not sure how many of you are looking at CAT 22 here, then go for there is a limited edition offer going on. So 12-month subscription, you get 3 months free. Same thing happens with the 2-year subscription as well, right? So tomorrow can be a day that you can look forward to. So if you have not taken an academic combat test, so that happens every Sunday at 12 in the afternoon. So use this code and take this particular test. You have fantastic scholarships on offer. You can avail some of those scholarships just in need. All right, so that brings me to the end of this section. Glad to be here with you guys this afternoon. I will see you again at 5:30 in the evening. Bye till then. Stay blessed.